Hey, welcome and welcome back. It's Keisha. We are on day 39 of our Lenten lessons. Look at that. Today, of course, is Good Friday. So let us go ahead and begin. I think we are reading, let's see, today. We begin our reading with John chapter 19, verses 1 through 42. John chapter 19. Oh, no. Let us center in. So go ahead and close our eyes. And take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. And out. Another deep breath in. And out. And just feel the busyness of the morning. Any cares, concerns, dramas, any conditions not to your liking, just pick them all up on the inhale and release them back to source on the exhale. Again. Feeling free and invigorated. Feel the pulse of your energy quickening and awakening. Remembering your divine spark, each breath fanning its flames. And now see a column of white light come over us. And in this column is peace. Without peace, power is impossible. So breathe in peace. Breathe in knowing and wisdom. And now to peace and wisdom. Add power. And now let's temper that power with love. When you're feeling whole and complete, gently open your eyes. All right. So, John 19, 1 through 42. Quick, John. I have really enjoyed these days. Okay. Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe, and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smote him with their hands. Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that you may know that I find no fault in him. Then Jesus came forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate said unto them, Behold the man. When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. And he went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Jesus, Whence art thou? But Jesus gave no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have the power to crucify thee, and have the power to release thee? And Jesus answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivereth me unto thee hath the greater sin. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth, and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour, and he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. And they cried out, Away with him, away with him! Crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Jesus and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of the skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha. And they crucified him, and two other with him on either side one, and Jesus in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. And then said the chief priest of the Jews to Pilate, Write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am King of the Jews. Pilate answered, What I have written, I have written. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. They said therefore among themselves, Let us not rend it, but cast lots for it, whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, They parted my raiment upon them, and for my vesture they did cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did. Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother, and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciples standing by, whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour that disciple took her into his home. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. And there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop, and brought it to his mouth. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed up his head and gave up the ghost. The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain on the cross on the Sabbath day, for the Sabbath was a high day, besought that their legs might be broken, and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first, and of the other which was crucified with him. When they came to Jesus and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. But one of the soldiers with the spear pierced his side, and forthwith came out blood and water. And he that saw it bare record, and his record is true, and he knoweth that he saith true, that ye might believe. For these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled, a bone of him shall not be broken. And again another scripture saith, They shall look upon him whom they pierced. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus, and Pilate gave him leave. And he came therefore and took the body of Jesus. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Jesus by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, and about 100-pound weight. And they took the body of Jesus, and wound it in linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Jews it is to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden was a new sepulchre, wherein was never man yet laid. There laid they Jesus before, because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. "39th day, Crucifixion. Jesus' crucifixion on Calvary was a final step in the work that had been going on in him for 33 years. And when he arose, he was entirely free from the carnal mind with all its limitations. He had overcome all the carnal tendencies which he had taken on, that he might free the race from its bondage. The word crucifixion means the crossing out in consciousness of certain errors that had become fixed states of mind. It is the enactment by a master in the final extinction of carnal mind, the giving up of the whole personality, in order that the Christ mind may be expressed in all its fullness. This is represented by the crucifixion of Jesus. Cavalry means the place of the skull. The carnal mind has appropriated the brain in its skull, and it is here that the final battle is fought. Every time we give up error, there is a crucifixion. 3 days Jesus was in the tomb represent the 3 steps in overcoming error. First, non-resistance. Second, the taking on of divine activity or receiving the will of God. Third, the assimilation and fulfillment of the divine will. I deny the self that I may unite with myself with the selfless. I deny the self that I may unite with the selfless. I give up the mortal that I may attain the immortal. I dissolve the thought of the physical body that I may realize the spiritual body. This is a mental process with a physical effect. And so we affirm, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Okay. So here we are. It's a crossing out of an error in consciousness. We'll take that into the day and come back tomorrow for our final lesson. I love you in the meantime. Bye.